So picture this, you snagged your dream bag, the one that you've been eyeing for months, or maybe even a year at this point. Or maybe you splurged on the perfect pair of shoes that you've been loving so much recently. And especially during these holidays with all the sales in the world that you could possibly find. You swipe your card, you feel that rush of excitement.
Declined. Can you try again? Really declined.
And you tell yourself, you know what, I'll pay this off later. It's not that big of a deal. Fast forward a month and that little swipe has turned into a giant balance with interest piling up faster than a flash sale sells out.
How are you going to pay this debt?
Hi, I'm Maria, the Maria Financial on socials, and I help you look good and I share mindful tips to help you achieve your goals. And if you're ready, let's get into it. Today, I'm going to be showing you how this financial institution set up the system, making money off of your spending habit, how they manipulate your psychology and the things that you see here and there. And honestly, how the system is rigged to keep you in debt. But here's a catch. Credit cards can obviously be a friendly or actually a helpful tool.
Instead of using your debit card, you would use your credit card, and when that charge posts, you make a payment from your checking account.
Yep.
So that is how a credit card is supposed to be used.
But typically they're just a trap.
A huge part of looking and feeling expensive is obviously skincare.
Let's stop and do a video check. It could work really well in the summer, in the fall. I think it's beautiful. This is Napa leather and this is the mini size.
And companies like MasterCard, Visa, all those credit card companies, they are making a profit off of every one of you.
$1.17 trillion is what consumers now owe on your credit card network. So
especially the ones of you like me who love to shop. I do love shopping. It's a thrill. Like, that's the excitement we're talking about. And while you may say, oh, I have a small business, I do too. Yes, even you. Because, I mentioned earlier, you probably have a MasterCard or Visa because they control 80% of the market. So more than likely, you have one of the other. I know that I do myself. So they are making trillions off swiping that card. Your credit card APR is probably somewhere near 28%. Why do I say that? Because that's the average across the board. So it is no wonder a lot of Americans are drowning in debt, especially because a lot of us turn to using credit card, which is also the same system that we're meant to use, that you know how to borrow a loan and pay it back. The credit card, that is one of the biggest or easiest ways to build your credit. But like I said, meant to be a trap most of the time.
A better than expected profit for the third quarter on Thursday as consumers encouraged by economic stability boosted their spending.
Because at the end of the day, right? Like we said, profits. So yeah, it's no wonder most Americans are drowning in debt. That is the means that most people use in order for them to build a credit, in order for them to actually just live in general at this point. Let's be real. But the Senate Judiciary Committee had a hearing for Visa MasterCard duopoly.
why aren't all of these businesses running away from this model? Because they don't have a choice, because you control so much of the market. This is classic monopolistic behavior, and yet your testimony here today is you don't want any competition. You have 80% of the market, but you don't want any more competition.
In case you don't know what a duopoly is, it pretty much they control the market. Did I say that they had 80% of the market? Yes. That makes them a duopoly. When you're playing Monopoly, the whole point is that one person controls or owns most of those things. That is a monopoly. We've all played the game. And if you haven't played the game, that's kind of the concept that we're talking about here, right? Now, we have these two companies, 80% of the market, duopoly. They control most of the market. So it's not just about you. Because yes, they're targeting when you would think, oh, okay, let me start a business because America is a capitalist America, right? Let me go get a business. Let me start a business. Let's do that. If you're working with them, monopolies affect the small businesses. We know this mom and pop shops everywhere close up because, again, one person owns most of the things. So, you know, those type of small businesses just cannot compete against these huge corporations, which in turn, there's less competition for these huge corporations. Therefore, they can set the price out whatever they want it to be because where else are you going to go, right? And then when we talk about the future of the economy, most people are in credit card debt. What does that say about, forget even upward mobility or whatever, right? What does that say about just the cost of living? Prices and things are set by these corporations at whatever they demand or whatever they want it to be.
It's circa 50%.
Mr. Sheedy?
Slightly higher.
It's higher than 50% profit margin?
Slightly higher than MasterCard, yes.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And there's only 2 people in the market that are at their level. What does that say for everyone else who uses these institutions so that you can try to get ahead, right? Let's rewind to where it all started. Before credit cards became a swipe happy symbol of freedom that we know it to be today, there were store credits, layaway plans, right? You know someone, a mom and pop shop, you would go there, and if you really, really needed something, they probably had a ledger, and you would say, hey, I will buy this, and maybe I have an IOU. You know I'll be back. You know where I live. You know all the stuff, right? So like a layaway plan, a little bit more formal, a little bit more structured, or a store credit, okay, this is how much I can spend at this place, and this is where you go, right? You either have the money or you don't, and if you have a relationship with the owners of the store, you were lucky, you could set some kind of system up, and they would work with you. That's how it works. In 1950, the Diners Club card arrived. And if you don't know, you should probably watch that documentary on Netflix. And they did a little credit card episode, Unexplained. And I think that was a really good, quick recap of exactly what I'm talking about right now. Because that was also what opened my eyes to realize that the credit card system and the institutions that we know it to be today started in the 50s and 60s. Okay, it wasn't always there. So obviously this 50s and 60s, we're talking 60, 70 years ago, right? 1960s, Visa and MasterCard was introduced as well. And of course, they promised convenience, luxury, and a way to just have limitless options when it came to your shopping experience. You can literally get so much more things now. Does that sound familiar? Exactly. So now fast forward to today, and we built a society where your ability to shop and access necessities at this point is tied to your credit score, right? You want to get an apartment, you want to do anything, they're going to run your credit score. They're going to see if you can take out that loan and pay it back, and your credit score will give an indicator of that history. That's what we are today. But the system wasn't built for you, right? It was built to profit off of you. Think about it. You're encouraged to build credit, but fine print, it's also designed to keep you in a loop of overspending. They end up making the money off of you regardless. So unless you are really wealthy and being able to pay that money back is of no issue to you, perfect. Great. Or if you're very, very well calculated when it comes to your finances and paying it back, you may fall into those categories as well. But if you get slippery and sloppy, just 1 second, the beginning of the rise of your debt and the profit these institutions make off of you. Let's be real. Shopping feels good. Okay? Shopping feels great. We window shop, we shop online, we check out things, we want to add this. Oh, that looks cool. I saw someone wearing it and oh my God, shopping feels good. All right? There's no need to lie. I'm not going to lie to you and say it doesn't. It does. If you're in the few percentage of people who don't love to do it, I congratulate you. But I'm sure you spend your money on something else too. That dopamine hit when you grab something or you see that thing that you've been eyeing for months on your wish list forever and you get it on a deal or a sale. Are you kidding me? Like, that feels amazing. And credit card companies know this. They know that you feel good when you shop. They know that if they give you a 25% sale, you will shop more. They know it. You know it because you do it, and they also just know that you'll do it. So obviously they know they're going to make that money off of you. Have you ever wondered why all these exclusive deals come up during Black Friday, during Christmas season, Cyber Monday, New Year's, MLK weekend, Veterans Day, Columbus Day? It is an institution set around spending. It is a capitalist system. So a lot of times we go to celebrate, there are no third spaces that give us a reprieve without you spending money. What you have to do is spend money in this capitalist system. So these holidays are not centered around gifts, and you have to buy gifts that are this price, and you have to do things that are that. And everybody wants a gift, and this is it. It's all psychological. And then they give you a little minimum and they say, oh, don't worry, you don't have to pay it all off. Just meet this minimum and you'll be good. We won't give you that crazy of an interest because you're still getting interest. All right. If you do not pay off that balance in a month, you still will have interest put in your account. And on average, you will have accrued an interest of $1,000 on top of whatever debt you already had. So add whatever you have in there plus $1,000. That's not what you're paying at the end of the year because on average, they're going to put that interest rate on there unless you're paying it off at time balance, right? If you're good, you're good. But most people aren't good. And that's the problem. So you pay the minimum, and your interests are out of this world at that point. At that point, I mean, listen, the debt is gonna rack up quick, very quickly. But that's how they get you. Oh, don't worry, just pay this little money and you should be fine, and we'll keep your account going. And you say, okay, I'm fine. That's all I can do. I'm gonna pay the minimum. Why? The average American pays $1,000 in credit card interest every year. So yeah, if you're the average American, you're probably paying that as well with the credit card debt that you have. I mean, they even use credit limits to bait you, right? If you're smart, like I said, a credit card can be a tool, right? If you're smart and you increase your credit card limit so that way your utilization looks lower because you're not spending more than you were spending before. Now your utilization looks lower, which could boost your credit score. But what they do is they offer you, hey, here's $5,000 in credit limit. And what do you think? I can now spend up to $5,000 more. No. It's a nudge for you to spend more. That's what it is. It's just, hey, you can spend a little bit more. Don't worry about it. There's a limit increase. And when then you can't pay it off, they hit you with a high APR. Okay. Higher than the price of that designer bag, that shoe that you got on sale. 28%, like I said, on average. People don't realize, like I said, it's not just even you and me, it's the small businesses that you may start, because a lot of Black women, a lot of women in general start their own businesses. And a lot of my audience are women. So you probably are thinking of starting a business, or you maybe have a business already. It's not just you that they're doing this to, it's also your small business as well. So you don't want to be spending crazy on that small business card either. I mean, again, credit is still credit. Like, again, it's tied to you. Are we focused on that? And that's why you see a lot of businesses want to deal in cash, right? Especially small businesses, because every time you swipe a card, Visa, MasterCard, all these credit card companies, they charge a service fee, an exchange fee that business now has to incur that fee. That means less of a profit from that sale that the business gets, because some of that profit is obviously going to those companies that you used their platform on for ease, right? But when they work with corporations, of course, again, I'm talking about this capitalist system that we're in, right? They work with corporations like Walmart, and what's happening with them, everything is perfectly great, low interest, they barely have any interest. That's crazy, because is your APR for your small business credit card that low? So meanwhile, your favorite local boutique, they're paying higher rates. That's why a lot of them may say, we know we would like cash. And if you can just get it out, get the $3 fee, it's like the same interchange. Like, it's like you adding that extra $3 that they would have had to pay probably, or something like that, right? So that's why a lot of businesses might do that. And you're like, and I've been in the past too, being like, oh my God, like, just get with the times. Get the cash. And I get it. I'm like, it's probably because of the fees. It's probably because of the fees. You want to support your local businesses and your small businesses? Go get that money from the ATM if you really feel like, hey, I want to spend money here. It's worth it because they don't get those fees. They have more profit at the end of the day. They're not even making as much profit as these big corporations in the first place. So that's really how you can help those mom and pop shops and small businesses to thrive. Your local boutique, your local tailor, whatever. Really no wonder that MasterCard and Visa are pulling a 50% profit. That is the monopoly duopoly we live in, where it's 50% of profit. It's insane. That, like I said, trillions, right? That's where the trill come from. Like, you think bill, trill, right? When I heard that, I was like, makes sense, but also to see it is insane. And so when we go back to it, why are small businesses being charged higher than a big corporation? It's anti-competition. They support the big corporation because the big corporation is part of the corporation they may own in the first place, or they have a big stake in, or whatever it may be. It pays them to have these big corporations be their ally with less fees, less. Why? The mom and pop are squeezed out. They don't make enough profit. They aren't even able to make as much customers and sales. And when these big corporations or these big companies put things on super cheap prices with terrible quality that you're probably going to buy multiple times in the following years to come, but it's cheap, right? And end of the day, cheap wins. Let's be real. A lot of times, if you do not have the means, cheap wins over the mom and pop who can do it for more. Let's be real. So they do it on purpose. It's anti-competition. And make sure they squeeze people out because, hey, they can offer better sales at more quantities and serve a ton of people in shorter amount of times, squeezing out the competition who may have better quality, higher value for what they provide, but you would never see that because they don't make the profit to even keep the doors open. The small business. It's a full on, like we said, it's a monopoly, duopoly. It's all the duopolies. So you may be wondering, where is the government in all of this? There have been, and I talked about this in my Hermes class action lawsuit with the antitrust laws being brought up when it came to those aspects of the competition for the bag. Yeah, you may be asking, okay, aren't antitrust laws supposed to guide us from these monopolies happening? Yes. But again, we've had things like the Sherman Act come through, designed to stop huge companies from dominating industries, right? But in reality, enforcement has been weak, and that happens when big corporation is tied to a politician that may also have interest in said big corporation. The people who are really taking the hit are middle and low income earners when it comes to the structure of the United States and this capitalist system that we live in general. But yeah, the parallels are clear. Unless you are the corporate elite or, again, high earning or high earner in general, you may not be affected by a lot of these. Like I said, you can pay it off. You can pay off the credit card and all of that. Not a big deal. But if you are a middle or low income earner, you are more than likely affected by this. That's just the reality of it. Just like these big companies are using their powers to crush the little business and the little mom and pop shop, they are doing the same thing to each and every one. So what can you do as a shopper? What can you do as a person? What can you do as a small business? We can push for change. Let's be real, okay? If you are writing your Senate, you are getting involved, you are trying to reach your representative and telling them that, you're sending letters and things like that, it does create a push. I know people are like, oh, do they care? They do see it, or at least they get an influx of it, and it causes some movement, right? They do see it, they do read it. You need to talk to them and you need to tell them we need stronger antitrust laws. We need people to be going after this, these corporations, these developers that come into a neighborhood and buy out everything and nothing is affordable anymore. You need to show up to those town hall meetings. You need to show up when they're having public charrettes. You need to show up when it comes to those things because, and I know it could be hard because maybe you're at work and those times don't work for you, but you need to let your voice be heard. Send an email. Like I said, as someone who's working in municipality, someone sees all of the complaints. They file it in a log of complaints and they push it ahead, higher to their directors, to the city manager, to whoever it may be that needs to be aware of those situations, your representatives, your senators, all of those people. You need to be going and talking to them about these things. They need to hold these companies accountable when it comes to just the future of the economy and our lifestyles in general. I know I saw Bernie Sanders wrote a memo stating that he's willing to work with his credit card companies to cap the APR. Now, I don't know. I would love for us to cap it. I would love to have it be 10% and be capped at 10%. And these are predatory rates and they come for someone who's very young and has a high interest rate. And even older people are getting 20%, 18% interest rate. Those are too high of an interest rate. So to be able to cap it, I am all for it. Again, it's just the enforcement may be low due to private interest that may be there. But if people's voice are heard, it causes a push. That's why you show up to anything, because you want to be seen, you want to be heard. It's impactful to make your voice heard. And you need to. You're getting older. Get into it. You got to talk to your politicians. You got to talk to those people. You have to even know what's happening to be able to talk to these people, but you need to. Like I said, second, we got to support the small businesses. When the mom and pop shops say, hey, we need you to get it from an ATM, just get it from an ATM. It would really help them out. It would have been, $3 extra from the ATM fees that you would get. Add that to the cost if they really wanted it from an ATM. It would help that mom and pop out. That's why they ask for the cash. I know I've gone to a lot of people in the past who did my hair and wanted cash because of those fees, right? So it's tedious, it's annoying, but it helps out that small business. That's how you can support small businesses. And finally, let's get smart about credit card. Okay, these credit cards and credit card usages, you gotta get smart about it. Pay your balance in full when you can, all right? I did it before, fell off the wagon, trying to get back on it and did it again. You have to, because it's like once you get off of the wagon of not paying it in full, it feels like you will never be able to pay it off. I'm sure you feel that way too. It feels like, when will I be able to pay it off? I thought I could, it's just exactly snowball of debt. Pay those cards in full when you can and avoid the sales. I told you, I have like 2-3 months out of the year where I don't shop at all. It's intentional. I have to be accountable to myself and not spend anything for this while, because every single time I find myself spending something. A lot of people had a no buy periods or low buy years. Intentional spending, mindful spending, right? Stop relying on the minimum payments to get you through. It's not gonna be enough. It will never be enough. You have to pay it in full, and you have to just stop spending in general. That's how you win the game. You get off the ride. You stop. I'm done. This is my stop right here. This is it. That's how you win this game of credit card debt. Stop spending. So what's your experience with credit card and shopping? Do you think the government is doing enough to stop these monopolies in general? And don't forget to check out my video on the buy now, pay later epidemic. Just pay in full and you're good to go. Well, by now you will definitely pay later, let me tell you. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. And until next time,